So what's your
Huh?
hidden in the subconscious creepy story?
Well, you bring back memories of my parents. Yeah, which
Okay.
is a little bit sad. I mean, maybe this is why I don't really think about it. But yeah, my father had creepy moments like this.
Oh, he was.
So yeah, with a
wow.
knife. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. But
He was
anyway.
creepy towards a family with a knife?
Well, there's a couple. So there's two different things that happen, right? With both with knives, and I think, yeah. So this is why I don't. I think I don't. I haven't ever had that experience where, I felt so angry that that line got blurred. But yeah, I think it's because of this experience. So for me, it's been a good thing, right? But yeah, way back when I was younger, again, maybe I was like, I don't know, maybe I was 5 or 6, maybe, anyway, my mom was sleeping, and she was tired from work or whatever, and then I was in her room, like me and my her and my dad's room, watching TV, right? So but she told me to lock the door, so you could lock the door from the inside, right? And then my dad came, and he was busy drinking, so it never made him a good person when he was drinking, right? And then so he couldn't get in the door, and so he was really upset, and he was yelling at me to open the door, and he thought I locked it, but I locked it because my mom told me to lock it, right? And then my mom was busy sleeping, and she was just whatever, groggy or whatever, and then he got so angry that he came back to the door, and I think, yeah, my mom yelled at me to just open the door. But when I opened the door and unlocked the door, I saw him there with a cleaver, and I was like, oh shit, and he was really upset at me, and I think, I don't remember so much. I'm not. Hopefully, maybe I didn't block it out or something. I was so young, but I think he hit me, and I think. And really it's more psychological at that time, right? Really the scarring as a kid, it's more, there's people that you love and you look up to, that you look to for love and support, they're busy hating you at that time, right? So that's what really hurt to me, right? I don't think I really think about, like he was going to kill me or something, right? But anyway, my mom, always said, oh, he's just upset and whatever, right? But still, it's traumatizing, right? It's
Oh yeah, that's your dad. He's a little cleaver dad.
Yeah, like it's as a kid, you're still traumatized by the whole situation, right? Because to me, I'm like, I don't remember fearing for my life, but I was just really hurt by the vision of my dad, with a cleaver and being upset at me. You know what I mean? And that's what really hurts. Now, I learned as a life coach that's the thing that really hurts people, right? It's the psychological trauma that you go through as a kid, right? And so anyway, so that was creepy. That was one creepy situation that you reminded me about.
So he was outside and he had a cleaver?
No, he went to the kitchen and then he came back and he was like, open the friggin' door.
The shy moment where
Yeah,
which door?
My mom and dad's bedroom door. So I was in the bedroom,
Right.
and I was watching TV, and my mom was sleeping, just just lock the door because I don't want to, whatever. Like I think he had his moments when he was drinking. He would, maybe be upset and whatever. And then I locked the door, and then he didn't like it, so he came back with a cleaver. And he yelled at me to open the door, and then my mom was like, "Oh, just open the door." And then I opened the door. I was like, "Hey, hi, Mr. Cleaver." So,
wow.
the bad Mr. Cleaver.
So it was like that movie. Was it The Shining?
Yeah, Shining.
Well, I don't know. Anyway, so I'm trying not to take it any further than that. But I mean, yeah. Anyway, that was one creepy thing, and then
Say hi to your dad.
luckily, we made peace, at this time. So.
Yeah, I mean
yeah.
that's what I mean. Like Shining
So
character, he got mad. Well, I can see myself turning into
Don't do it, Daddy.
him in the extreme situation.
Yeah, but this is why I would. I would never do that, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, in that situation
Yeah.
anyway. Like I wouldn't do anything like that to my kids. I would never do anything that to people I care about or whatever. Like,
Right.
you know, if it was for defense to protect, you know, then yeah. I mean, I think anything goes depending on the situation. But I'm very hardwired to, you know, not doing that to people I love. That, you know, that's one thing I really learned from it. Thank God, you know, thank God I didn't end up a messed up adult. But, you know, it just made me actually a better person, I think, really. Yeah. So, you know.
I mean,
But, yeah.
I think it's really important not to corner a person psychologically.
Yeah.
So until they, you know, they erupt, I guess.
But it happens a lot.
It happens a lot, yeah.
Yeah. People, they see you in the corner and they just keep going.
Well, last time you were
And,
putting up the number where like every day, almost every day in US, there's like some kind of a killing going on, right? Gun killing.
Yeah.
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 But apparently the more scary thing about that is that compared to the number of people who just suicide by gun, this number is like nothing.
Yeah, it's nothing. Yeah, the biggest use of firearms in the United States is suicide.
Oh.
Yeah. So, yeah, you buy a gun, it's not going to really protect you. It's
See, that's a sad thing. I think it's a reflection that really people hate themselves. You know, like they're angry. A lot of people are angry that even shoot other people. They're just angry.
Or maybe
like
they
that.
just don't have a way out of their situation, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always a way out, but the thing is, people can't find their way out, and that's when they resort to violence, right?
There are some dark times where you really become dark, I think.
It's going to get worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, what
Don't
I'm...
do it.
No, I mean, personally. Again,
I'm like,
You know,
please don't do it.
in the course of my say marriage and divorce, there were some dark moments that I never imagined that I will get into. But
Like, are they like deep core disturbing type
no,
things?
forget no. So before I got married, I never ever even dreamed about killing myself, nor I condoned the behavior. I was
Yeah.
more like in the line of Christianity. It's like it's a sin. You shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Never ever.
Yeah.
Or even if you're like in pain and dying, you should not kill yourself because I guess it's a Christian idea that's in me. But I am one of the strongest person I know, and even I felt like I wanted to kill myself when things were just rock bottom. When I was at my rock bottom, right?
Yeah.
So it's really easy to say there's like a way out, there's always way out or whatever, there's like you can do this or the positive thinking. But once you get there, you will realize it's not that easy. I say, get some help. Take the drug if you're in the lowest moment, that project or whatever, right? You just have to get out from the bottom, then you can do all those things, other things later.
I would agree with get help.
Yeah.
And I've been in that place before as well, but luckily I was able to help myself and think my way through it. So it can be done, but yeah, and I would not agree with the drug thing, right? Because
I'm too cheap for Prozac. I never did Prozac.
yeah, but drugs have all kinds of side effects, and
Well,
that just takes you down a whole nother alley, right?
If you think it's too much, just do some dopes or weed, whatever that gets you past that darkest moment. I say go for it. I am much more I became much more lenient after that. I experienced the pain. And
How old were
suffering.
you?
Well, I guess I was around mid-30s.
Okay.
Yeah. In outside everything's looking good, but it's like there's hell. It was feeling like I was living through the hell, right?
Yeah.
It's like, and a day of hell is enough, but if you have weeks and months of it, whoa, that's a lot of times.
Yes,
And
I agree with that.
anyways, just get out of the moment.
But I think,
But don't do hard drug because it's a down. You may go into even deeper hell. if you
well, this is
become
the thing,
drunk
right? And I
dependent,
think
right?
this is what I learned from my dad,
Yeah.
right? Is
Or
that
alcoholism.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he was alcohol, but I
Okay.
mean alcoholic, but I think he did abuse alcohol. You know what I mean? So like he had dark times, and when and this is why I learned from him not to do it, right? Because if I went down, I could, I already know where that road leads, so that's why I don't agree with it, right? It's like if you do drugs or you do alcohol to alter your state because you don't feel good, it doesn't make it any better. Because the thing is, for one, you end up doing worse things like what my dad did. I haven't told you the second story yet, but and then and then on top of that, even if you do feel fine for until after the alcohol wears off or the drugs wear off, once it wears off, you're still facing the same problems. And this is where for me, I never saw that as an answer, and I saw my one of my sisters kind of try to use alcohol in the same way, and I could see that she was just again, I don't know how I knew these things at such a young age, but she would take one sip and then suddenly be happy, and I'm like, there's no way that alcohol is that fast, for one. So I knew that she was just giving herself permission to be happy. And this is one thing I learned fairly early on, was that so that means that you can't be happy if you want. It's just a choice that you make, right? So a lot of people, they do a lot of things just to allow themselves, and I could see why my sister did it, right? Because that way, if she's happy or she's silly or she does anything wrong, she just blames the alcohol. She has a excuse, right? So for me, when I was growing up, I learned to allow myself to be happy, and I didn't have to drink. So, and then I never, I always see it as important. Like, I think this is why I'm probably one of the happiest people that I know out of all of my social circle of friends, right? Is because I allow myself to be happy, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I don't need any excuse to be happy. I don't need to blame anything. Like, I don't have to that whatever. If I'm at a party or whatever, I'm having a better time than a lot of people that are drinking, right? They're like, "Are you sure you're not drinking something?" I'm like, "No, I'm not drinking anything."
Are you sure you don't hate the government? Because that government, man, I hate that government.
Yeah. So, but I mean, this is this is where, if you practice these things, right? I mean, again, I'm lucky I knew these things, early on. But, once you start, like, so when I was depressed like you, and I was really, I got to the same place as you, where I'm like, the dark days just kept, growing on each other. And I understand where, you have such a dark period, when it starts being like months and years, it's like, it becomes really heavy, right? So, but like I said, I started to make choices. I started to say, hey, I can choose to be happy if I want. And again, like I said, you do the math, and it's all across the board, from your food, your relationships, how people treat you, what the job that you have, the car that you drive or you don't drive, or your level of transportation, or what phone you have, or what phone you can afford, or whatever. This is why it just compounds on itself, happiness-wise, right? So people make it so difficult, and they wonder why during COVID, like, everyone's at home, like, they're so sad. And me, I'm totally fine. I'm happy. I can enjoy life, because the point is, I make it easy for me to be happy. I can still want the best ramen in town when I can have it, but I'm just as happy with whatever.
Something tells me that you don't have a girlfriend right now.
No, but it doesn't mean that I'm not happy, though.
No, what I'm saying, all the miseries usually come from having a very close relationship with somebody, I think.
What's that? Sorry?
Greatest miseries come from relationships.
I think so, yeah.
Come from what do you mean? Like a bad relationship?
Or just relationships. With a woman, usually. That's where the greatest miseries come from.
I think a lot of this need for happiness causes people to do creepy things. I think the most creepy things come from a place of sort of love or acceptance, right? This is my take on it, right? So I was in Hong Kong, and I was invited to go back to work on a project with a friend. All right, so me, him, his family, we're very close, right? So I went to live with them in kind of like an attic space, not an attic space. So in Hong Kong, these buildings usually have, a top level, and they have like a little hut, right? So I would stay there. And, the thing was, his wife is really jealous of me because, you know, I'd work with his husband and we'd hang out and we'd have fun, right? But they didn't have such a great relationship. And the first thing she did when I went to their house for that time was she pulled out her phone, right? And showed me a picture. Do you know this bitch? I'm like, what? What are you talking about? She's like, my husband went to Vietnam to have an affair with this person, with another friend of his, right? So I think already that she has a very low kind of self-esteem can like within that relationship, right? Because her husband, my friend, was like a serial cheater.
Yes.
Right? And I think she wanted more out of their marriage. So, anyways, I saw that. I'm like, I pretend I didn't know anything, but I knew what was going on, right? Because my friend already told me. And I think there was a weird power balance within the house, right? So, as I was working with my friend, you know, the wife got more and more jealous. You know, I think she wanted more time with the husband or whatever.
Wow.
So what happened was she started to come up to my place when I wasn't there, and she would take my camera equipment and smash it. I didn't know at first when it happened, but one day I looked at my camera equipment and it's like, why is my camera all smashed up? Like, what the fuck's wrong with this, right?
Yeah.
And then I found out another camera lens, a really expensive lens, was stolen. Like, so I confronted the two of them on this. Yo, fucking someone stole my shit and smashed up my camera. Right? So the husband was like, fucking like, you know, he didn't know what to say. I think he pretty knew his wife did it. Like, he knew his wife did it, right? Because his wife would go on violent rampages, smashing furniture. And,
so she was just randomly being violent.
Yeah, she was just being violent on things. So this is the people you're staying with. You think they're your friends.
Yes.
But they turn that trust and they flip it upside down, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, you pay me what you give back to me what you stole and you fix the camera, right?
Yeah.
I told them, I gave them an ultimatum.
Yeah.
And they pretend like, oh, I don't know what's going on, you know. And to have that trust kind of just, you know, how it is, perverted, was just really
Betrayal, yeah.
It felt like you were in a kind of a low-level horror movie. Like, shit, what's next? Are they gonna fucking slice me open at night or something? So I think it's because of his wife being all jealous and shit, right? Of his husband just having a more kind of just interesting life than her.
Or just uncontrolled
Uncontrolled
emotion.
Well, I
craziness.
think, it's kind of related to what Dustin is saying about how you get to a certain point and you're so angry that she's not thinking straight. Like, he's not, you know, both of them maybe not thinking straight.
So
it's not about attacking your stuff, but it's just your stuff got in the way of them losing it.
It's just, they lost it. I confronted them, and it wasn't, I tried to keep the anger as low as possible, right? I didn't want to kill anyone.
The camera is very expensive.
No, but
Dustin's like, kill him!
no, but
This is expensive!
the way they put it, the way she argued it is like, yeah, I did it, but do you have proof? That type of shit.
Wow.
The husband was fucking, he didn't have any balls at that moment. And I was like, I called my other friend, yo, I need a place to stay. I've been fucked over really bad. You know, I had my trust fucking, you know, flushed down the toilet. You know, it's disturbing when people close to you fucking turn on you, and fucking, it feels like you're suddenly in a horror movie, right?
Yeah.
It's one of the fucking scariest moments of my life. I didn't know if I was going to make it out. I wouldn't say alive, but unscathed. You know?
Yeah.
Who knows? They might just call the cops and make some fake out story, right?
Yeah.
So the thing was, you know, I think they had problems as a couple.
Yes.
But that creepiness came from a place of the woman, the wife, wanting to be loved.
Yes.
Because apparently she was yelled at as a kid a lot, and fucking her dad just yelled at her for like nothing. And this is
I think
kind of disturbing, and you see it later in life.
Yeah.
But, you know, it just felt really bad that I had to taste any of that.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it just made me feel really fucking shitty.
Yeah.
And it was disturbing to know that normal people can turn really bad.
Yeah.
right?
Well,
That's the scary thing.
I think
Yeah.
they were seemingly normal. They weren't normal. I think, all the things are true, right? Like everything that's unfortunately messed up about adults, it comes from when they're kids. Like
Yeah.
just like what I'm saying, that's why I feel so lucky that I'm not, messed up that way, right? But I could be easily, right? And if I didn't sort out all my own stuff, yeah, I would, maybe doing half of the stuff too, right? But yeah, it comes from when they're kids, and also it doesn't have anything to do with them as a couple that they had a bad relationship. It's again because they separately had issues, right? Like she had her issues, and I'm sure he had his, and then people that have dysfunctions tend to find each other. And like I said, is that energy where you go together with other people that are messed up too, and then you just have a messed up relationship.
Well,
And
they were just bubbling closer to more. They were functionally falling apart. They functioned as a family, but more and more, it just felt like they were just falling apart. Like the wife,
because the root of where they came from is messed up.
like the wife would have these just months where she would just flip off, like she would just get angry, and when the husband settles his infidelities or whatever, right? Okay, they're fine for a while, and then out of nowhere, she just like a light switch.
Yeah.
For a whole month, she'll fucking not talk to anyone, be rude to all the other extended family and stuff, and be all angry and just have I think it's called like an extended mood swing, right? Hit the kids or whatever, and then
Well, it's just a dysfunctional pattern that they keep running, right?
yeah, but I think it just for them it just got worse. Every year it just gets a bit worse, a bit worse, a bit worse.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's bubbling to a really
I can see
point,
that,
right?
yeah.
And I was caught there at a really bad time,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? And she
But
was
it's all those underlying issues. It goes directly, absolutely. I believe it's because she didn't feel loved as a kid, and that she doesn't feel she's worthy. And that's where it manifests into all her dysfunctional behavior as an adult. And the thing is, they're trying to make a relationship work, and like you said, the root was all messed up because she didn't feel loved, and she's constantly running all these messed up patterns.
Okay, I'm not sure if the infidelity is ever forgiven there, or just
yeah,
set
I
aside
don't know,
as,
but it's just I think the most disturbing thing is
Yeah.
just watching people just descend into
hell, madness, or
just
whatever.
maybe borderline madness.
Yeah.
And it's just seeing normal go to like unnormal. You watch a horror movie where there's jump scares and stuff, you're like, yeah, whatever. That's like primal, fight or flight kind of thing. You see a monster, it's basically you're seeing a lion, right? It's either you run away from it or you get eaten, or you try to run and you still get eaten, right? But if you make it out, you're fine. But just being surrounded by just people who can't kind of, like you said, dig their way out of that emotional hole.
Yeah.
It's the most disturbing part is like, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? Are they going to come home and hurt themselves, hurt someone else?
Yeah.
More importantly, are they going to hurt their kids? Right? Like physically or mentally, like starting it again, right?
Yeah.
It's just really unsettling